Hey guys, so I'm back with another video. This week I'm going to talk about the Locking Quickdraw. I had a couple comments on my everyday carry video asking about what some of the uses for this piece of equipment are, and I can talk about a few that just sort of come to mind right now. One thing I will say is maybe in the rock context this isn't as useful. Whereas in the alpine world, this thing really does become quite useful. And it's also kind of more of like a guiding tool than exactly a recreationalist tool. However, recreationalists could use this thing for a lot of different things. So keep an open mind. And I kind of use it for guiding more than I do out in my spare time. This isn't exactly part of my kit that I carry, or it's not always on my harness, so to speak. I know it's in my everyday carry video, but I don't pull this out for everything that I could use it for. That's what I'll say. But keep an open mind, and it is a useful tool to use, so I'm going to show you some examples of where this might come in handy. Alright, so the first thing this could be useful for is as a repel extension. You can see how I have the locking draw on my ATC, and then I have my third hand right here, and it can all be connected to my belay loop, which, as we all know, is better practice than hooking this onto your leg loop, as well as it does allow the ATC to get a bit further from my belay device, so it could have better braking plane going on. And if I'm rappelling with like a backpack or more heavy loads, then this could help out quite a bit. As well as if you're the first person going down, you have your clients or your friends up here already with their devices pre-rigged, and you don't really need the longest extension if you're the first person going down. If you're a second or third, then yeah, it would be good to have a long extension, but anything too long could be overdoing it, so this is a good way to help keep the system clean, easy, and fast. So another example of how the locker draw could help out is by extending your master point. Here you see I'm clipped in with my clove hitch, and then I'm belaying with the Munter hitch for whatever reason. And you can see how they're just sort of binding up, or the Munter hitch is binding up against the clove hitch. And this can actually be a safety hazard if I pull in rope too fast and too much of it. It could actually start wearing out my clove hitch because I have active rope playing on passive rope. So one thing that I could do is, if I get this Munter hitch off, is take out my Locking Quickdraw with that extension aspect of it. And I could hook my friend in here. There we go. And now you see how my Munter hitch is far away from my clove hitch. And I can just pull rope in freely. It's actually a little less friction, so it's a lot easier to pull rope in. And I can belay my friend up. This would also work with an ATC style device as well. One thing you do want to keep in mind though is in order to be able to keep up with your friend is to maybe give yourself a little bit more extension on your tether, so that way you have a really good amount of room to pull rope through your device. Alright, so that's just about everything I have to demonstrate to you guys. Another useful thing you can do with one or two of these is in a sport anchor. You could have your sport draw here and then a Locking Quickdraw here, and then bring the two lower end together, and that would help just give a little bit more security for your top rope. Another thing I also want to bring to light is how I have a D carabiner and a parabiner here. These are both Metolius carabiners. I like them because they're nice, small, and compact. But another idea for a locking draw would be two parabiners on either side, and maybe two D carabiners, but that kind of, I haven't really seen too many people with that. This is one of those things that people will buy the materials and make themselves, so they'll just sort of put together what they feel is best. I've seen two pair carabiners, or a D and a pair like I have here. It would maybe even be nice to have a few Locking Quickdraws in your quiver if you really use them that much. One set up like this and the other set up with different carabiners, different dog bones. Maybe something a bit longer, usually top rope Locking Quickdraws. If you are getting them just for the sake of top roping, you can get longer ones. Maybe something along the lines of a 16-inch dog bone. I think this one's an 8 or a 12-inch. Looks like actually looks more like a 6-inch dog bone. So this one, you can see it's pretty small. It's about the size of my fist. So if you get one in the more like 12-inch range, that'd be a pretty good locking quick draw. And if you are going to get a set of 2 locking quick draws again for top roping, make sure that they are the same length of dog bone. But other than that, I mean, like, I usually just build an actual anchor, like a quad anchor or an overhand, double length overhand. But that's just about the most uses I've found for a locking quick draw. There are other things like a critical piece of equipment, a critical gear placement while up a pitch. Maybe you have your actual route that you're climbing up on the right side that you placed all your gear, and then you split the other rope, so you have your 2 clients at the bottom, and the other client is going up this end, but there's no gear. You can place this locking quick draw at the very top as a directional, and in that case it would be a pretty critical directional, so having it be locking carabiners will really make it hard for the rope to come loose on that critical piece. So that is another thing to think about. That's getting more into guiding world, but if you are climbing with a group of 3 and want to do that for whatever reason, then this thing would come in handy for that. I'm finding more uses for the locking quick draw every time, and maybe I'll make a video of more uses, like a locking quick draw number 2 video, but right now those are the main uses I have for this. But it is a pretty useful tool, and I have a couple friends who bring this out with them every time and use it for a ton of different things. So maybe I'll talk to them and get some ideas on the locking quick draw from them. But this is it's a nice tool to have. Maybe it's not the most essential to have in your kit. Maybe wait to get a few other things before this, like 12 actual quick draws, but still, it's a useful piece of equipment, and I'm finding more uses for it every day. So if you have any uses yourself, leave a comment. If you have any more questions, then you can leave those. I can give you guys links to my other videos explaining more about the stuff I showed you in this one. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.